परत आपण कंटिन्यू करतोय. मगाशी ऑक्टायडल कॉम्प्लेक्सच्या बाबतीत आपण बघितलं होतं की देर आर yes, we have stopped here that in an octahedral complex, the 6 ligands we have started with the octahedral complex where the 6 ligands which are surrounded by the metal atom and where the two orbitals those can experience a stronger repulsion from the surrounding ligands, and those two orbitals are raised in energy. For this purpose, I have shown these two orbitals which are raised in energy. The remaining three orbitals which are having their lobes in between the coordinate axis, they do not experience the repulsion from the surrounding ligands, and hence these are lowered in energy. Here, the electron that entering into low energy T2G group of orbitals stabilized by an amount minus zero point -4 delta O or minus 4 dq, and that electron which is going into high energy EG group of orbitals is stabilized by an amount 0.6 delta O or 6 dq. And we have seen that the crystal field splitting is nothing but it is the energy difference between the T2G and EG group of orbitals, which is denoted by a symbol delta, where O stands for octahedral complex. So that 1 delta O is equal to 10 dq. So this is a case that is possible in case of octahedral complex, after which we have seen that the concept of high spin and low spin complexes, where we have studied that the crystal field splitting that is much more influenced by the strength of ligands, where we have seen those ligands which cause a very small degree of splitting of d orbitals. Last time we have drawn this diagram also, where the delta O value is very small. So weak ligands, those can interact the metal d orbitals very weakly, or there is an interaction between the metal and the ligand d orbital is very poor. Because poor interaction is there, hence the crystal field splitting, that is the energy difference between T2G and EG, is very small. When the surrounding ligand field is strong enough, then the strong ligands interact with the metal d orbitals very strongly, and because of strong interaction, the d orbitals, they split up into two sets, where this energy gap or energy difference between T2G and EG group of orbitals is large enough. We have also concluded that in weak ligand field, where the energy difference between T2G and EG group of orbital is very small enough, and hence if at all the electrons has to occupy either of these orbitals, then first the electrons occupy singly and then pairing starts. And because here the surrounding ligand field is a weak ligand, so weak ligand does not permit to pair the electrons. So under the influence of weak ligand field, maximum number of electrons prefer to remain unpaired. Because of this, the complex is a high spin or spin free complex. Here we have considered the cobalt plus 3 case, but actually in practice we have considered cobalt plus 2 case, where 7 electrons are there. And here in case of strong ligand field, when the ligands are strong enough, then these ligands interact with the metal d orbitals very strongly, on account of which there is a the energy gap between T2G and EG is very large enough, and because of which the placement of these ligands in EG group of orbitals is very large enough, and less amount of energy required to pair the electron. And because very less amount of energy is required, hence pairing takes place, which lowers the spin, and hence all such complexes are known as a low spin complexes. So from this, one can conclude that whenever ligand field is a weak, then a high spin or spin free paramagnetic complex is formed. Why it is paramagnetic? Because maximum number of electrons remain unpaired, and because of which the electrons are spin free, and hence high spin state is there. But in case of strong ligand field, when the energy gap is very large enough, because strong ligands interact with the metal d orbitals very strongly, on account of which there is a large energy difference. And because the amount of energy that is required to pair the electron is very less, than to place those electron in EG group of orbital is very high, and because of which the pairing takes place, which lowers the spin, and hence under the influence of strong ligand field, maximum number of electrons prefer to pair off so as to give minimum number of unpaired electrons, and hence pairing takes place because ligand field is strong. So from this, one can conclude whenever weak ligand field is there, a high spin or spin free complex is formed, and whenever a strong ligand field is there, a low spin or spin paired complex is formed. Here we have also denoted that delta O is greater than P. Here we have considered that the P is a pairing energy, which is very less in case of strong ligand field. So amount of energy that is required to pair the electron is less, because surrounding ligand field is a strong ligand field. So very less amount of energy is required to pair the electrons, and hence pairing takes place, which lowers the spin. But in case of weak ligand field, here in case of weak ligand field, the crystal field splitting
पेनाने बघितलं सांग
is very less.
स्क्रीनशॉट मारलं झाले की त्यात काय
अरे तुम
सरांनी सांगितलं कुठं लिहिली दाखव जरा.
अरे माईक कोण चालू ठेवलाय? ही सूचना सांगते. जे विद्यार्थी माईक चालू ठेवणार आहेत त्यांना रिमूव्ह केलं जाईल. इथून पुढे लक्षात ठेवायचं सगळ्यांनी. एक सूचना प्रत्येक वेळेला सांगून उपयोग नाही. प्रत्येक वेळेला माईक म्यूट करायला सांगावं लागतं का तुम्हाला? ज्यांचे माईक चालू असतील त्यांना इथून पुढे रिमूव्ह केलं जाईल झूम मीटिंग मध्ये. So we have seen that the crystal field splitting is much more influenced by the strength of ligands, after which again we have moved to the calculation of CFSE, where we have calculated the CFSE for cobalt plus 2 complexes, where we have seen that the crystal field splitting that is affected because of the either strong or weak ligand field. Now, based on this, we shall move further for the today's aspect, that is crystal field splitting in tetrahedral complexes. We have seen that first of all you have to pick your notebook and we have to draw one diagram for the crystal field splitting in tetrahedral complexes. So first of all, everybody should draw this diagram which I have shown here. Draw this diagram first and then we shall discuss within 5 minutes. So first of all, draw this diagram. This diagram is appearing on your screen. So draw this diagram. So first of all, during this, you have to draw a perfect cube. First of all, draw a perfect cube. Draw this perfect cube. Inside this cube, you have to show mn plus or simply m plus, which indicates that it is a metal atom and here after drawing this cube you have to show two ligands diagonal to each other. These are the two ligands which are diagonal to each other, and label this as L and this is another L. Two ligands which are present at the top of this square of this cube, and remaining two ligands that we have to show at the bottom, which are again exactly opposite to the top face. Here at the top we have shown these two ligands which are diagonal to each other, and at the bottom we have to show these two ligands again diagonal to each other. So this is nothing but Ml4. Metal atom is surrounded by 4 ligands. So a perfect cube you have to draw, and at the top you have to show 2 ligands. Similarly, at the bottom you have to again show 2 ligands. After completion of this diagram, you have to show an imaginary x-axis like this. This is x-axis. Then an imaginary y-axis you have to show in your diagram. This is y-axis. Then a z-axis. So in this tetrahedral complex, while drawing the diagram, we have shown a metal atom at the center surrounded by first, second, third and fourth ligand. After this, you have to show again this diagram. Here below this diagram you have to show Ml4, and here this is the increasing energy that you have to show. Then again, as usual, while drawing the diagram for octahedral complex, we have shown 5 degenerate d orbitals. Show these 5 degenerate d orbitals, and you have to write below the 5 degenerate d orbitals of metal. Then you have to show the 5 d orbitals little bit raised in energy. Show the raised in energy orbitals little bit, which I have shown in the last octahedral complexes. Similar you have to show, and here below these 5 orbitals you have to write the hypothetical unsplit ion in tetrahedral field. So first part, these are the degenerate orbitals which are present on the same energy. Then show little raised in energy of the 5d orbitals. And in the third part of the diagram, you have to show exact reverse figure as that we have seen in octahedral complexes, that you have to show the dx square minus y square and dz square. These are the 2 orbitals that we have to show at the bottom, and 3 orbitals at the top. So show the figure of splitting of 5 d orbitals into 2 sets. One set lower in energy having 2 orbitals, one set higher in energy having 3 orbitals. You have to label these 2 orbitals as a dx square minus y square, and second orbital is a dz square. Again you have to draw a mean or average energy dotted line here in between these 2 sets of orbital, and these 3 orbitals you have to name as dxy, first orbital, then dyz, and third orbital is dxz. So dx square minus y square and dz square. Draw the diagram properly, because during exam you have to draw this diagram. Hence, it's a sort of practice that you have to carry out during your routine lectures. After drawing this diagram, here the set of two orbitals, you have to label this set of orbitals as a simply small e, and for the set of three orbitals, that is dxy, dyz and dxz, here simply you have to write only T2. You should not write T2g, only you have to write T2. So in the previous case, in octahedral complexes, we have seen that the T2g group of orbitals, those are shown as much lower in energy as compared to EG group of orbital, but exact reverse case that we are showing in tetrahedral complexes. And after labeling all these orbitals, you have to show the energy gap between E and T2 as delta T. Here you have to write delta T. Delta is the energy difference, and the letter, small letter T, stands for a tetrahedral complex. Have you finished your diagram? I think you have finished your diagram. So you have to check whether the diagram is correct or not. You have to show a perfect cube like this. Inside the cube, you have to show a metal atom Mn plus or simply M plus. Mn plus or M plus stands for the plus sign, or N plus sign indicates the oxidation state of metal, and these are the two ligands present diagonally to each other. Remaining two ligands, those are present again diagonally to each other, but exactly reverse to that of the uppermost part of this cube. These are the two ligands. Here Ml4, you have to write below this Ml4. This is a imaginary x-axis, this is imaginary y-axis, and this is imaginary z-axis. You have to write here as Ml4, where M stands for metal, L stands for ligand. And again, you have to check the diagram that you have to show on extreme left hand side increasing energy, the 5 degenerate d orbitals of metal. You have to label these orbitals as the degenerate orbitals, and remaining the 5 orbitals, when the ligands approach, these 5 orbitals are raised in energy. Again, here you have to write that this is a hypothetical unsplit. That means splitting has not taken place. Hypothetical unsplit ion anion tetrahedral field, or under the influence of tetrahedral ligands. You have to show two groups of orbitals as usual. First group containing two orbitals, name you have to label this as, if you have already drawn, please check whether you label these two orbitals correctly. First orbital is dx square plus s square, and second orbital is dz square orbital. This set of orbital is simply named as E group of orbital. Don't write Eg, I will tell you the reason. Then here three orbitals dxy, dyz and dxz. This is a T2 orbitals. Don't write again G later. Here this energy gap between E and T2 is denoted by symbol delta T, where T stands for a tetrahedral complex. I think this diagram you have finished. Now, if we want to discuss about the crystal field splitting in tetrahedral complexes, then again we have to consider the position of ligands and the position of 5d orbitals of the metals. You should listen very attentively because some drastic changes are observed in the crystal field splitting of tetrahedral complexes. Here, as we know that there are the 5 orbitals of metal. These 3 orbitals dxy, dyz and dxz, these are having their orbital lobes in between the coordinate axis, while the remaining 2 orbitals are having their lobes on the axis or they are pointing towards the axis. Now, considering this particular fact, if we look at the position of ligands in a tetrahedral complex, perhaps you might be knowing that we have studied sp3 hybridization as in case of water molecule, ammonia molecule at our BSc1 and BSc2 level. For tetrahedral complexes, the coordination number is 4. The word tetra means 4. That means a metal atom is surrounded by 4 ligands. That means here the metal atom which is present at the center having coordination number 4. If a metal it is having a coordination number 4, then there are 4 ligands which are surrounded by this metal atom. For this reason I have shown here Ml4. So here this is the imaginary x-axis. Now as it is a tetrahedral complex, if we look at this position of 4 ligands, consider this is ligand number 1. This ligand number 1 which is present in between y and z axis. This is ligand number 2 which is present in between z and x axis. This is ligand number 3 which is present in between z and y axis. And this is the ligand number 4 which is present between the z and x axis. So a common conclusion that may be drawn from the position of ligands is that in a tetrahedral complex, for example NiCl4 minus or CuCl4 minus, we know the IUPAC names of these two complexes as tetrachloronickelate 2 ion, and this is a tetrachlorocuprate 2 ion. Here, as in case of tetrahedral complexes, the ligands are present in between the coordinate axis. So when these 4 ligands approach to the metal d orbitals, these are the metal d orbitals, those orbitals of metal which are having their lobes in between the coordinate axis, those can experience a stronger repulsion from the surrounding ligands. So the 2 orbitals, namely dx square minus y square and dz square, just my time is going to up after 5 minutes. So here it is seen that in an tetrahedral complex, as the ligands are present in between the coordinate axis and amongst the 5d orbitals of metal, these are the 3 orbitals, namely dxy, dyz and dxz. These are the 3 orbitals which are having their lobes also in between the coordinate axis. So when these ligands approach the metal d orbitals, those 3 orbitals of metal which are having their lobes in between the coordinate axis, those can experience a stronger repulsion from the surrounding ligands. For this reason, these are the 3 orbitals. These are the 3 orbitals. They are raised in energy. And remaining 2 orbitals, namely dx square minus y square and dz square orbital, these 2 orbitals are lowered in energy. Now here, this situation, that is the crystal field splitting of d orbitals in tetrahedral complexes, is exactly reversed to that is observed in octahedral complexes. Because in octahedral complexes, the EG group of orbitals, those are having their lobes on the coordinate axis, and the ligands are also present on the axis, and hence these orbitals experience stronger repulsion from the surrounding ligands. But in tetrahedral complex, you should remember this sentence that I am saying just now, that in tetrahedral complexes, all the ligands, that is four ligands, are present in between the coordinate axis, and those orbitals of metal which are present or which are having the lobes in between the coordinate axis, those can experience stronger repulsion and hence are raised in energy. Naturally, the remaining two orbitals, namely d x square minus y square and d z square, these two orbitals are lowered in energy. Now here, just now I have told you that in case of tetrahedral complexes, the 5d orbitals, they split up into two sets. But here, the crystal field splitting in tetrahedral complexes is shown simply by E and T2 letters, because suppose if we see this is a metal which is a center point, then this center point does not divide this tetrahedral complex symmetrically. That means, in other words, tetrahedral complexes do not possess, you should remember this sentence also while writing the explanation for tetrahedral complexes, that tetrahedral complexes do not have center of symmetry. This word is very important while writing the explanation for tetrahedral complexes, that for tetrahedral complexes, they do not possess a center of symmetry. A center of symmetry is nothing but the center which divides the molecule or the complex in two equal halves, and hence as tetrahedral complexes do not have a center of symmetry, hence the letter G is not used while writing the crystal field splitting as a E and T2. Don't write EG and T2G. So letter G should not be used in writing the crystal field splitting in case of tetrahedral complexes. So we have to write the E and T2. So in tetrahedral complexes, the 5d orbitals are now split up into two sets. One set having two orbital, which is the lower in energy, named as E set. Another set here having three orbital, named as T2 set, having three orbitals. And this energy gap or the energy difference between E and T2 set is denoted by letter delta T. This crystal field splitting in case of tetrahedral complexes is much more smaller as that observed in octahedral complexes. Here, it is presumed that for the formation of these tetrahedral complexes, the surrounding ligands should be weak. Here it is considered as the chloroligands, which can produce the ligand field which is surrounded by this nickel. The ligand field that is created by the four chloroligands, that ligand field created is very weak. So whenever ligand field is weak ligands interact with the metal d orbitals very weakly, on account of which the crystal field splitting between the E and T2 set is very small. Another reason is that the number of ligand that also matters for the smaller crystal field splitting, that is delta T. In case of octahedral complexes, the number of ligands are more, that is 6 ligands are surrounded by the metal, but in this case only 4 ligands are surrounded by the metal. So first reason is that to have a small crystal field splitting, the weak ligands are present surrounding the metal. Second reason is that weak ligands interact with the metal d orbitals very weakly, on account of which the crystal field splitting is small. And third, weak ligands, they can interact with the metal d orbitals very weakly, and because of which the crystal field splitting is very small. So the basic concept to form a tetrahedral complex is that in the formation of tetrahedral complexes, the surrounding ligand should be weak. Unless and until the ligand field is weak, no tetrahedral complexes are possible. And whenever there is a tetrahedral complex is there, the hybridization of the central metal atom is always sp3. And we know that while studying the hybridization at BSc 1 level, that whenever there is sp3 hybridization, the perfect geometry is a tetrahedral geometry. So you should remember that two things you should remember, 2 to 3 things. First thing is that in case of octahedral complexes, the EG orbitals are elevated in energy while T2G orbitals are lowered in energy. But in case of tetrahedral complexes, the three orbitals named as the T2 orbitals are raised in energy. The reason for this is that in tetrahedral complexes, the ligands are present in between the coordinate axis, and amongst the 5d orbitals of metal, 3 orbitals are also present in between the axis, and because of this, the ligands and the metal d orbitals which are present in between the coordinate axis, and hence these 3 orbitals are elevated in energy named as a T2G, and remaining 2 orbitals of metal which are having their lobes on the axis, and hence there is no question of repulsion in case of tetrahedral complex, because in tetrahedral complexes ligands are present in between the axis and these 2 orbitals are present on the axis and hence are lowered in energy. Similar to that of octahedral complexes, here each electron that occupying this E group of orbital is stabilized by an amount minus 6 del minus 0.6 delta T. Perhaps you might have written in your diagram also, or minus 0.6 delta T. And here you have to write in your diagram that each electron occupying this either of this orbital, that is stabilized by amount minus 0.4 delta T or 4 dq. Here you have to write minus 0.6 delta T or minus 6 dt delta T or minus 0.6 delta T. So similar abbreviations that you have to use while labeling this particular energy differences, which is exactly reverse to that of the octahedral complexes. So this is all about the tetrahedral complexes. So certain basic ideas that we have to remember. It is showing that time is up. We are going to again continue with the same explanation in tetrahedral complexes. So after 30 seconds, we are again rejoining. After rejoining, you have to again mute your microphones, which creates much more different disturbances. So you have to rejoin again by clicking the same link.